Today I want to talk to you guys about separation anxiety. It's a term that gets tossed around loosely in the dog world. My dog tore up a pillow every time I leave, so he has separation anxiety. True separation anxiety is not an untrained dog running around just randomly tearing things up. True separation anxiety is your dog's panicked response to its primary person leaving him alone. Much as you would go through a panic or anxiety attack in whatever situation might trigger one for you. It's not anything that the dog can help. It is a true condition that needs to be worked on. What are some signs of canine separation anxiety? Usually, right after the guardian leaves, the dog can start barking, howling, wandering around each room aimlessly looking for its owner. Some even try to dig their way out. You'll have, my dog ate the sheetrock, ate a hole through the door. Just random things, chewing on furniture, pottying inappropriately in the house. Kennel training is strongly recommended, especially if you have a herding or a protection breed. These breeds bond more closely with their humans than any other breed might. You are truly part of that dog's family. I hear it all the time, I don't want to leave my dog in a cage. Well, to your dog, it's not a cage. It's a cozy den. It's their private place. Back in the wild, the dog would dig a little hidey hole or find a cave or, scoot some brush around something, and that would be their den. It's out of the way, it's protected, it's cozy, it's theirs, it's private. In our living room, we have 2 kennels set up side by side, blanket draped over them, doors stay open. Our dogs come and go as they want. They know the morning routine. As soon as I start putting my shoes on in the bedroom, one of the dogs will run in her kennel. The other one tries to run to the door because he wants to go with me. But the kennel is the safest place for your dog. It is also a way to keep your house in order, so to speak. It will save you money because you don't have to replace everything that they tear up. And you can teach them, even in a kennel, how to occupy themselves and calm themselves down. You can give them chew toys, you can give them interactive puzzles, things in their kennel that are safe, they're not going to destroy or chew on, and it will keep them busy. Don't only use it when you have to be absent, because then they get a negative association with it. Oh, well, if I have to go in my kennel, that means my person's definitely leaving, and I don't know when it's coming back. Never use a kennel for punishment. If your dog needs a timeout, and all of them do at some point in time, you can make it positive, send them to their kennel, give them a chew toy, let them go in there. Don't make it a punishment like, oh, get in your kennel. No, it's like, come on, baby, let's go sleep. Here, lay down and rest. Just make it positive. Always give your dog various chew toys, stuffed with kibbles and treats. I like to take Kong products and fill them with peanut butter or wet dog food or something that I can stick in the freezer. Throughout the day, they have that to keep them busy. Little interactive puzzles. There's always something that you can put in the kennel that will keep them occupied. The Kongs, there's deer and elk antlers that you can get at your local pet store, sterilized bones. Some of those come already stuffed for you. Cow hooves are a good chew toy that you can give them. All of these I'm mentioning are toys that you can give your dog that will keep their brain activity going. It will teach them to not focus on the fact that you're gone. They have something in front of them. They're occupied with their toy. They've calmed themselves down. And you'll find if you do this, then periodically throughout the day, let's say a visitor comes over and they kind of get stressed, you'll find them, they'll go run to their kennel and they'll grab a toy along the way. They've learned to calm themselves down. What I also do with my dogs, it helps, is to perhaps If you don't want to leave the TV on, leave a radio on. The radio or the TV, or they even make CDs that you can put on with doggy lullabies. Put something like that on. It's white noise. It keeps the dog from focusing on every car that passes. But first, we're going to show you how to crate train your dog and let them turn that kennel into their den. We'll be back. Hi everybody, we're back with the crate training section of the show. Katie has joined us today. How you doing?
Good.
Now you're getting a new puppy.
Yes.
Tell us about him.
Odin is a Husky Malamute mix. He's almost 4 weeks old right now, but I won't get him until he's about 8 weeks old or maybe later, not sure yet. But he's a little cream colored puppy that I'll be getting.
Cool. So you called me because you were needing help with crate training. Okay. Well, you're going to go through several crates until he's full grown.
Okay.
So I don't think he's going to be very destructive at first, so you can probably get away with, I don't know, garage sale or whatever's cheap.
Okay.
Corinne, come here. I know she's a big girl and she's full grown, but technically what you want to do with the crate, you want to get it 1.5 times the length of the dog.
Okay.
Minus the tail.
Okay.
And tall enough for them to stand up in, turn around, lay down, move around, get comfortable.
Okay.
So you're going to start small, and as he grows, you're going to progress upward.
Okay.
Dogs usually live in den-like environments in the wild.
Okay.
So we created a little den for Corinne here. Just throw a little blanket on it. Any age dog that you want to start crate training. What you're going to do is get them comfortable going in and out of the crate first.
Okay.
So you may have to throw a toy or a treat. Why don't you go ahead and throw a treat in there, and just don't give her a command or nothing, just throw it in there. Let her come in, get her treat, she'll come back out and see if you've got more. Do that several times a day till she has no problem going in. Eventually you can lead up to closing the door. Maybe not latching it, but just closing it.
Okay.
And see how they react, and then open the door again. That way they can just come and go. They don't feel trapped. Now what you can do during the day while you're off just doing your chores around the house or whatever, you can get these little Kong toys. You can stuff dry kibble in this one. When you leave them alone in the crate, you always want to give them a chew toy. Okay? The chew toy is something, it's rubber, it's made for a dog's teeth. You can put treats in it. This would be considered a play toy. Okay? Even though this is rubber and indestructible, like the Kongs, this isn't. She chews on that and starts pulling it apart. Eventually she can start eating it, and then she'll swallow it. Then you have a potential choking, major surgery potential. So Katie, just toss another one in there. Now this time you want to choose the word you're going to use for your crate. I used to call it a box with one of my dogs way back when. You can call it crate, you can call it kennel. So when you throw it in there this time, tell her.
Kennel.
Call her out.
Corinne, come. Good girl.
Just do it again.
Kennel.
So as I said, it doesn't take much. You're going to train at the dog's pace. Some are more stubborn than others. When I come home from work and they get super excited and they're ready to get out, they start pawing at the gate. Well, if I let them out then, guess what their reward was? They paw the gate, they get out. Not going to happen. So what we do is we tell them sit, we tell them lay down or something, and when they do that and they quit pawing, then we open the door and let them out.
Okay. Can I use the crate for punishment for Odin?
You never want to use the crate for punishment for the simple reason you don't want to create a negative association with it. Now, we all know they're going to need a timeout, we're going to need a timeout, and we do it all the time in our house. It's like, oh, come on, puppies, come on, come on, come on, look, here's your toy, kennel. And they get in the kennel, we close it up, and we're like,
oh, how long can I leave them in the crate?
Really, as long as you need to. If you have a quick errand to run to start off with, you can leave them in there, run your errand, come back, because you're steadily going to build up to it. And eventually, if you have to go to work and have to leave them in there 8 to 10 hours a day, they'll be used to it because you can build them up. In Odin's case, you're going to want to get a crate just a little bit bigger than what I mentioned because he's still going to be potty training and he's not going to be able to hold his bladder that long. So if you get one a little bit wider, you can put a training pad down, and that gives him a place on the side that he can potty, and then he can come back to his bed and lay down. But okay, so now we get her in the kennel, we start closing the door, okay, and you can increase the time that the door is closed.
Corinne. Kennel?
So we're not gonna lock it, we're just gonna shut it. But again, this is what you're going to do periodically throughout the day. Put them in it, count. You can stand here, that way they're looking at you like, okay, I'll wait. Eventually, you'll open it. Odin will come running out. And then you can play with him, and you keep doing this throughout the day. Eventually, you'll close it, you'll latch it, and let's go walk away for a minute. And then you start walking away. And again, you do that throughout the day. And eventually you'll have the whole time built up to where you can put them in when you're ready to leave in the morning. Take them out when you come home, leave it open, let them come and go as they please.
Now, when I leave them in the crate, is it better to keep the house quiet? Or?
I don't recommend that. If you leave and they're in the crate and there's nothing else going around in the house anymore, all they have to focus on is the cars passing down the street, leaves blowing, squirrels, birds, whatever. They're going to bark. What I do, I turn a radio on. Okay. It's just white noise. You can find classical music, keeps them calmer, or even a talk show. They can hear people's voices. Okay. And it's the radio. I have a client that leaves the TV on. They have a little doggy lullaby app on their TV that they play all day. All right. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can check out our website or our YouTube video, and we'll be happy to help. We'll be right back. For today's viewer mail, I actually received a very intriguing question from Jane via email this week. She writes, I was at my son's soccer game a couple of weekends ago, and I saw a lady walking her dog around the park. The dog was adorable, especially with a yellow ribbon tied around the leash near its neck. Since the park we were in has an off-leash dog park on premises, I was wondering why she didn't take her dog there for play and exercise. Could the yellow ribbon have a special meaning? Yes, it does. The Yellow Ribbon Project is a movement created for dogs that need space. Veterinarians in Australia created the sign or signal to indicate that a dog that they were walking may have an injury or just had surgery, but for whatever reason, don't let your dog rush up and engage it in play or go and try to pet the dog because you just may overstimulate it. It's not to mean that the dog is vicious or aggressive in any way. It just means it could be injured. It could be a new dog and is still bonding with its person. Taking it out for a walk on a test run to see how the dog reacts to other people. Just not ready for public interaction. But we know dogs all need their exercise, so they have to be walked. They have to have room to play. Can you think of a better way to signal to passersby that please don't pet my dog, you know, other than advertising fresh surgery? You know, you just don't want to do that. So yeah, the yellow ribbon is only to indicate that the dog needs space for whatever reason. Many adults and children do know how to approach a dog, but there's many people that don't. They see a dog on a leash and think it's public property and they can just run up and start petting anytime you want. To pet owners, this is extremely irritating, because to a lot of us, that dog is our child. How would you feel if I randomly came up to you and started petting your child? You wouldn't like it. Same thing with the dogs. Yellow ribbon, give it its space. You see a dog on a leash with its owner, always ask the owner before you approach it and pet it. But yeah, nothing aggressive, nothing that should draw a red flag, nothing scary. Just give them a little space. Welcome back to Let's Talk About Dogs. This week's interview is with Patrick Ransom of Camp Bow Wow. Hi Patrick, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, an absolute pleasure.
Nice to have you here. So tell me, what is Camp Bow Wow?
Camp Bow Wow is a premier doggy daycare, dog boarding, and training facility in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And what makes Camp Bow Wow a little different than a lot of other different facilities is that we have an open play environment. So dogs, while they're here for daycare, boarding, or training, actually get to socialize and interact with other dogs and have fun.
Okay. And you said boarding, daycare, and training.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is that the only thing you offer, or do you offer other services?
So we focus on those three things. We also do some basic grooming here, nail trims, ear cleaning, eye cleaning, teeth brushing, but we stay away from the clipping just because we want to focus on what we're good at, and that's letting dogs have fun and enjoy interacting with one another.
Now, who came up with the concept of Camp Bow Wow?
Well, I wish I could take credit for it, but this is actually a franchise, nationwide franchise. There's actually over 130 camps throughout the nation. And basically what Camp Bow Wow has figured out over the last 13 years is that if you provide dogs and you let them socialize and have some fun, not only are they a lot happier, but they're a lot easier for us to take care of, and it gives them a much more positive boarding or training experience.
Okay, and why should owners consider a day camp?
Well, one of the reasons I love the daycare idea so much is that, number one, it gets to socialize your dog, so your dog learns to have positive interactions with people and mostly other dogs.
Okay.
Number two, and this is always a huge part of it, is that they get that good stimulation while they're here.
Right.
So one of the things that's been very surprising to me is that we have a lot of working professionals that drop their dog off before work and then pick them up in the afternoon when they're done. And what's the benefit for them? They get to go home and have fun with their buddy and relax on the couch, as opposed to having to work them and walk them and all that good stuff.
Or in the case of some things that I've read is my dog had so much fun at Camp Bow Wow that by the time we get home, falls right asleep, passes out.
And you hit a really big selling point, Laticia, of our business. We always laugh that a big part of our service is providing that mental, physical, and social stimulation. And like you said, what's the benefit to that is our clients pick up dogs that are satisfied.
Right.
So they can just worry about hanging out and having fun with their buddy. Their needs have already been met.
Well, you know, as a fellow trainer, our motto is what? A tired dog is a good dog.
Absolutely.
So, What is the procedure? Say I want to enroll my dog in Camp Bow Wow. What's step one? What can I expect?
Okay, so the first thing we need to do, Laticia, to get any dog into camp is we need to pass an interview.
Okay.
And what Laticia, an interview is, basically it's a free day at camp where we test your dog and we make sure it's a good fit for you and a good fit for your dog. So what would we do? We would have a new client show up with their dog and current vet records of rabies, bordetella, and distemper.
Right.
And what we would do is we would bring your dog into this room, and it's kind of silly, but we do it all day long. We would introduce your dog to a dog of the same sex and a dog of a different sex, and like I said, it's kind of silly, but head to butt and kind of let them smell each other.
That's dogs.
Absolutely. That's like
they don't say hello like we do.
Exactly. So, and the neat part about that process is, Laticia, is that you see the dogs, and it shows you a very clear illustration on how social they are.
Right.
You can tell when you bring a dog in here and they're smelling butts and circling and play bowing and whatnot, that silly body language. Absolutely. When you see that, you know you've got a social dog that's probably going to do well here. And a big part of showing people around is showing them the cameras that you can access through our website.
Good point. I was going to bring that up.
Or through the app for your phone. So one of the reasons I love the camera so much is that it allows you don't have to take my word on how much fun your dog is. If you want to check in with your buddy, get on the app, get on your computer, look on the campground, and it's such a peace of mind to know, to be able to watch your dog having fun and interacting as opposed to wondering. Because I don't care who you are, your brain can start to wander.
Exactly. Okay, well that's definitely reasonable. So I've asked a ton of questions. Is there anything in specific that you think our viewers would need to know or benefit knowing?
Well, the biggest thing is, Laticia, when you're dealing with any sort of facility or you're dealing with any, bring your dog anywhere, is that making sure it's a good fit for you and a good fit for your dog. And like we talked about, the benefits of daycare, and I'm sure you see this too, but there's so many people that have dogs that they think my dog's misbehaving or he's obnoxious or, and what is the real issue? They're not stimulated enough.
Right.
And you know as well as I do, if you can, you said earlier, tired dog, you're good dog. If you can knock down that mental, physical, and social stimulation, not only is it going to make your dog's life better, it's going to make your time with your dog a lot more fun.
Okay. Well, everybody, this is Patrick Ransom, and this is Camp Bow Wow, and we will have their contact information on the screen, so I'm sure they look forward to hearing from you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Laticia. Absolute pleasure.
You're welcome.
Y'all have a great day.
Bye-bye.